Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be previewing the 19.1 update, which is going to be rolling out into public beta. If you want to sign up to the public beta, a link to this thread will be in the description, and there is a sort of walkthrough on how you can sign up to beta here. I will read through this, though there are some changes that are coming to the game. It says, here is a list of upcoming changes in our 19.1 public beta. You can find additional information on the public beta program below. Combat balance changes, and we'll just go through all of these. Effects and skills update. Taunt now provides additional 5 AP to the taunting character when that character is attacked by the taunted enemies. So any character that has taunt on their rush effectively will get buffed because of this. And there are a bunch of characters that have got taunt recently released. Obviously Legacy Ascendables, which are going to be Rick and Douglas. And obviously a recent promo as well, which is Dr. Stevens is actually going to get buffed. He's very strong already, but now he's going to be even stronger. We obviously have some older characters too within Generation 1. The likes of Clementine, Princess, Shiva. There are a couple of taunt characters in there, so they're all going to get a little bit of a boost in terms of potentially taunt locking characters, which is going to be very interesting. There are going to be some nice little builds that could potentially happen on defense teams now. Guardian and Guardian 2 specialists will now be eligible to receive a Guardian shield if they are low on HP, compared to always applying to other teammates first. If you ever realize that basically the way Guardian shield works is it goes to the person with the lowest HP on your team, not the lowest max HP, but the lowest current HP. However, the only character that it would never go to, regardless of that HP, would be the Guardian themselves. So one of the things you could do when attacking a defense team was focus that Guardian, because they couldn't Guardian shield themselves. So there was obviously the upside of a Guardian was the fact that they could give out Guardian shields, and the downside was they couldn't give out Guardian shields to themselves until they'd already given it to the rest of the team. Now there's no downside. Now obviously a lot of people may feel this is a good thing. I'm not necessarily sure this is a good thing, because there wasn't really much of a downside to Guardian in the first place. Guardian is extremely powerful. The one weakness it had was the fact that a Guardian shield couldn't Guardian shield themselves. So this is a buff again, but I'm not really sure if it's a good one in my opinion. I think Guardian Shield should have had a downside to it. Outlast Specialist skill will now grant 100% AP to specialists when Outlast triggers. So a character like Jeremiah, when they die, will instantly gain all their rush, regardless of how much AP they had at the time. They could have rushed the turn before they got killed, and they get it again exactly straight away. But the only difference is if they are impaired, they wouldn't be able to gain that AP. There are not that many specialists with Outlast. I think Jeremiah is pretty much the only 6-star, but we could see some more characters come into the game in the future with Outlast, as this is quite a nice big buff. Imagine a big damage dealer comparable to, say, Amber being able to get this rush on a defense team. Regardless of if you kill that character, they're always going to get that rush off and just destroy you basically. There are of course a couple of ways you can block that. Impair, like mentioned before, but I'm pretty sure stun works still. Confused, the character still remains stunned and confused, so that's not too bad. Now another one is going to be neutralize threshold requirement has been reduced from 90% to 80%, making it easier for neutralize to trigger. I wouldn't really say it makes it easier for neutralize to trigger, it just makes neutralize trigger at a different point. That's it. Neutralize obviously is still blockable because of it is an impair, one turn impair, so you can still resist it. It doesn't make any difference to whether it will trigger or not, it's just when it will trigger. And it doesn't really make much difference between 80 and 90%. If it was like 50%, that would be a difference obviously, because then you could block someone from being commanded whether they've got the AP or not. Whereas at this point, it doesn't really make that much difference. That character can still be commanded that turn. It doesn't really make much difference at all. It's actually quite a strange change in my opinion. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. Maybe I'm missing something there. I'm pretty sure if you can block it at 90% and 80%, so nothing changes for me. The next one is Tenacity will now trigger if the character takes fatal damage at 20% or more HP, and their HP will be reduced to 19%. I believe before it was 1% HP or 1 HP. So basically they get smashed for like 20 million damage, but they block it all down to 1 HP, so they'd just be alive. So you'd have to attack them one more time. The difference here is that when that happened before, if they had a bleed effect on them or a burn effect on them, it would instantly kill them. Whereas now, 20% HP, you're generally not going to be able to bleed or burn someone to death with that. Obviously you can execute someone with that, so that is quite a nice change in terms of sort of countering bleed and burn, just taking out a Tenacity character. But obviously you can heal that up, you can get that back over 20%, and then it can proc again. Next one is Cutthroat, gives 50% bonus damage rather than 30%, and that is actually a pretty big difference. That is a huge difference. Characters like the OG Shiva, characters I believe like Yumiko as well, both have Cutthroat, and the sort of damage output they can bring is going to be massively increased. Obviously these obviously multiply with weapons and lead skills, and you're going to be seeing much bigger damage output by these characters. Now they are generation 1s. I don't think there are any generation 2 6-stars that have got Cutthroat, but that could change in the future. Now this has been boosted. Obviously there are some characters that could come in. Imagine you, for instance, if a character like Amber, again 600% damage, had Cutthroat. That would be really, really strong. And the next one is Lifesteal will now heal for 15% of the character's max HP when the specialist performs a critical hit. This skill no longer applies when killing an enemy. This is the specialist skill, I believe, Lifesteal, which was not that great. And I don't think there are that many characters at all that have it within 6-star, which it was good because it was absolutely terrible. The character that I used to use a lot that had it was the Strong Dwight that I got from the original anniversary event. Now I have to say, when he rushed, obviously he healed himself, but then if I killed someone that rushed, it was nice to get healed back. Now it's just going to be 15% of the character's max HP when the specialist just performs a crit. So it doesn't even have to do a lot of damage. Just a basic attack hits a crit, they're going to receive 15% of their HP back, which is, I guess, a nice little change. More potential to actually get heals, and we'll have to see how it works. There are, like I said, there aren't that many 6-stars that actually have that specialist skill at the moment though. There are some updates to the AI as well. I'll just quickly go over this, and it says characters controlled by the AI are now more likely to focus their damage against enemies who can be killed the quickest. So it would seem that 5-stars are going to basically be eliminated much earlier now, which kind of sucks if I'm honest, because 5-stars are generally used, especially the supporting characters are generally used by free-to-play because they don't have the utility characters to bring into the fights. So it does look like that's going to massively counter those sort of characters. Characters controlled by the AI have a better understanding of prioritization, allowing buffs, debuffs, and other targeting effects to be used more effectively. So by the sounds of it, it means that on a defense team, if there is a defense down character, that character will go off first and then the damage will come in afterwards. That is actually pretty good. I think the AI, obviously if it can be increased a little bit on defense teams, that's great. It'll be hard to know how well this balance is actually like performing, just based on the fact that there isn't huge amounts of balance within actual combat right now, unfortunately. The following characters will use their active skills more or less often to help improve their performance. All of these characters have increased use. The only one that has decreased use is Alert Zachary. So obviously, instead of using his active skill on defense like once in a while, he'll now prioritize gaining AP and prioritize the rush. I think all of these characters will always prioritize their rush over their active skill, but Zachary's going to be prioritizing gaining AP. So Zachary's somehow, again, it's very strange, but Zachary's somehow been buffed, which is like I say, pretty incredible. The rest in here is about the public beta program in terms of if you want to sign up. There is a walkthrough on how you can do this, and you can basically just walk through this and check out. There are links all around the place. The last bit is about troubleshooting if you have any issues. I would say there is no updates here in terms of any current bugs that are in the game. This is just about this update being put into beta, so I don't think the bugs will be fixed in beta just yet if there were any. So we're not going to see any fixes to, for instance, MAME, which is obviously an ongoing issue and has been for a few weeks, where MAME bypasses Guardian 2 shields, for instance. Pretty much the only counter for MAME that is available other than running MAME resistance, which is kind of not really an option for the majority of people. But that's a little preview of the public beta. If you want to sign up, link in the description, and you can run through the tutorial at the end of the link. But that's it. Do tell me what you think about the updates, particularly the updates to the effects and skills, because those are some big changes. Some of these are very, very interesting. But that's the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.